and welcome to another episode of KiNiMi Kitchen. I'm Kirby.
I'm Heather.
I'm Vaughn.
And today we are going to make two versions of chocolate chip cookies. So there's this epic battle between thin and crispy or thick and chewy. So we're gonna make both versions. Heather and I have known each other for
10 years.
10 years.
Close to it.
And then I met Vaughn through Heather. And Heather and I used to work together. These two are both amazing musical artists. And we used to spend our lunch breaks just talking about different ideas for songs, talking about life and dreams. And I'm just so glad to be on this journey with Heather as we're both pursuing what we're super passionate about. And Vaughn, I fell in love with him from the moment that I met him. And we also bonded over cooking. So I'm just so excited for you guys to be here today.
I'm so excited to eat chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, can we start now?
Aren't we all excited to eat chocolate chip cookies? So the version that we are going to make is thin and crispy. You want to make sure that your cold ingredients are at least room temperature. So we're going to get started with a cup of butter that's going to be melted. So that's 2 sticks. Of course, we're going to use this beautiful mixer here. I love my KitchenAid mixer. But to make sure that you have the best mixture of your ingredients, you want to make sure to mix all of your dry ingredients together first. So Heather is going to do that. So have you used a sifter before?
No, please tell me what a sifter is. I'm very unfamiliar to cooking.
So you're going to just be baking chocolate chip cookies without me after this because you're going to be so in the know. So this is a sifter. This used to be one of my favorite jobs as a kid. I would, for my mom to let me do the sifter. I had big dreams. So we'll just put the dry ingredients in the sifter, and then Heather is going to turn the crank and it's going to mix the dry ingredients together.
Okay.
So.
And then we have cookies?
And then after that, there's cookies. It's just you're done. You're done after that. So we're going to start off with 2 cups of flour. We're going to add 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of baking soda in there. Now the fun part begins. So you can just take the sifter and start cranking. This is some beautiful sifting.
This is the first time I've ever sifted.
I'm so glad we could do it together.
Me too.
This is really beautiful. We've got our dry ingredients, we've got our butter, and then for thin and crispy, we're going to add a little bit of water.
Really?
Which is something that you're not used to putting in cookies, but we'll show you how that actually turns out. All right, so 1 teaspoon of water. Doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot, does it? Nope, because it's not. Just a driplet of water. And we can actually put the melted butter in. On to adding the sugar, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. So if you were just to take that and put it in this little cute 1/4 cup and pop it in there, that wouldn't be right. So what you want to do with a packed version is you want to press it down a bit. You can use a spoon, you can use the spatula, but we're going to pack in the brown sugar. Do you want to pour that in there? Sure.
Watch your hands, Vaughn.
There we go. So that's 1/4. And then do you want to do the next one?
Yes.
We're going to use about 3/4 cup of white granulated sugar. So to this, we're going to add a little vanilla extract. Kind of pour it in and probably do about 2 teaspoons. All right, and so you let that mix together.
That smells good.
Ah, it smells so good.
That smells like heaven.
Then we're going to take 2 eggs. So we're just going to add the first egg here.
That was the most amazing egg crack I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad we get to see that again.
And we'll just take 1 egg, add that to our mixture there.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
There we go. And then we're going to just increase the speed just a little bit on the mixer. All right. And then we'll add our second egg. Nice. This is one of the first things that I wanted to master when I was about 6 years old. I had a friend of the family who would come over and cook with us, and she would always crack eggs with 1 hand. And I was like, I was mystified. I was literally mystified. And so I spent so much time and so many eggs, thanks Mom for letting me ruin so many eggs, to master that. So it's kind of fun. Nice. So let's add in our second egg. And we're about to have some cookie magic, guys.
Oh yeah.
So we have our wet ingredients. We have our perfectly sifted dry ingredients. Thank you, Heather. And we're going to start just adding the dry ingredients in slowly. So you just take a little bit of the dry ingredients and just kind of pour a little bit in. The idea is that you're letting the ingredients blend together and you're not getting any big chunks in there. Mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. Yum. And then we have dark chocolate chunks.
Yum.
How are you guys feeling?
All of them.
Yeah. Is there a D, all of the above?
I mean, there is. And this is the part that I like to get really creative. And you don't necessarily just have to measure this part.
Yeah.
Because some people like their cookies with like a chip in every bite. Some people want a little bit more dough. So I just like to do what feels right.
Those people are wrong.
Yeah. More chips.
More chips. So we're going to go ahead and add our chocolate chips.
I think we could go far heavier on the chips.
Let's add some more chips.
That's my looking pretty tasty though.
So now we are ready to bake our cookies. Some people really do love to eat the cookie dough. I'm not going to say that.
Do you recommend that?
I'm not that person. It tastes delicious, but it's not necessarily good for your tummy because you have the raw eggs.
I think about Rocky. He ate all those raw eggs. He got totally ripped.
So that's like a justification.
Definitely.
Yeah, everyone is pretty much Rocky.
So on the cookie sheet, I have a Silpat that helps the cookies not stick. This is especially important for the thin and crispy kind because they can stick to your cookie sheet.
So you can cook
this goes in the oven?
Yes.
Oh,
Pretty cool. So we're gonna just take the scoop, and I'm just gonna do the first one. Take your scoop. This is a pretty generous size scoop here.
That's gonna be a nice cookie.
A couple of those on there, and then we are ready to bake them at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. And
oh dear.
I mean, it's beautiful.
You just make it look so easy. You just go plop and look at mine.
All right, so stay tuned and we'll get ready to bake. That's the Bake the Cookie song.
Bake the cookie.
This is what happens when you're baking with two extremely musical people. On to our thick and chewy cookies. So we're going to start by creaming another cup of softened butter. So last time we melted the butter, this time it's just softened. And then we're also going to use about a tablespoon of vegetable shortening. So we're going to do a cup of the packed brown sugar. And then we'll add half a cup of our white sugars. You have your two sugars together with the butter. Just let that cream together. So this time we're going to use 3 1/4 cups of flour. Okay. We're still going to use baking soda and salt, but this time we're adding in cornstarch, which helps the cookies be fluffy. So, and then I'm going to add the cornstarch. So we're adding 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
Let's sift again, like we did last summer. No?
I like it. It's very nice. It's very nice. So we're going to use 1 teaspoon of salt. And then here we've got our baking soda. We're going to use 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda. Sifting is a lot of fun.
It is.
If you haven't done it, go out and buy yourself a sifter.
It's like that game that
Pop goes cookies. Oh, that one. That's a very fun game.
Pop goes the cookies.
Okay, so we've got our flour, baking soda, salt, and cornstarch. Sift that up for us. See that? So all of your ingredients are nice and mixed together. So to this, we're going to add our extract. And then we're going to get our eggs ready to go in. So this recipe also calls for
you crack those eggs.
Crack them.
Crack it. It also calls for 2 eggs. Do 2 whole eggs, and then I'm going to do the yolk of 1 more egg, and that kind of helps with the chewy consistency.
She still got it.
Still got it.
Let's add our first egg in. Our second egg. Awesome. Now this last one, we're just going to use the yolk.
Looks awesome.
So fluffy.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
wicked
super
fluffy.
super fluffy, which is what we want for this one. And I will get our chocolate chips ready. We also have some pieces of pecans and some slivered almonds too. Just get crazy, do what you want. We're definitely adding our trio of chocolate chips.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
how much?
So as a beginning baker, I'm curious.
Yes.
What would be my first step? Like, would it be buying this thing? Would it be, what's the first thing I should
Think of something that you really love to eat and you're motivated to make.
Cookies?
Cookies, good start. And then you do not have to invest in this type of mixer right off. One of the key things for having a good baked product is to make sure that your ingredients are mixed thoroughly. And while you could do that by hand, it's a little difficult. So, step one, I would find a recipe that I want to make, and then I would invest in a pretty decent just hand mixer. And those are pretty reasonable. And then you also have to know kind of the steps to get the best product. So you don't want to put all of your ingredients in the bowl and then just use your hand mixer.
Yeah.
You would want to follow the steps that we've done here. Just kind of put the butter, the sugar, cream it together. Make sure you mix your dry ingredients separately, and then mix them all together. Make sure. Ooh, that's so fluffy and pretty.
looks
It
awesome.
is.
If I stuck my finger in there, would it get chopped off?
It would. Okay, that's a bad idea.
Finger cookie. We don't want finger cookies.
We don't want any extra ingredients in the cookie.
Right.
So, you want to man the mini chocolate chips this time?
I'll do that.
Man the minis.
Man the
We've
minis.
got the regular chocolate chips, and then we have our dark chocolate chunks. I'm just going to add, I'm going to take that down just a little slower to the stir, so we don't beat up our chocolate chips too much. So I'm just going to throw in a few scoops of chocolate chunks. You guys just get in there with your chocolate, whatever feels good.
Alright.
Alright, so we have our cookie sheets and our silpat again.
Maybe get an endorsement by Silpat.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Anyone that's silpat interested in KiNiMi Kitchen. So these, we're gonna make them a little bit smaller chunk. And then I'm gonna take a smaller chunk and add it on top. And you'll see why once these are baked.
Too big on that one? Is it going to spread too much? I'll
we'll see.
redo it.
No, I think
You think-
we're gonna see what happens. We're
with
gonna
it?
let it have a life.
I'll go ahead and take the heat for it though if it does.
You just take one for the team and eat that one.
Oh, I guess I'm going to have to.
All right, so stay tuned and we'll get ready to bake. That's the bake the cookie song.
The cookies. Cookies.
This is what happens when you're baking with two extremely musical people. All right, so our thin and crispy are baked, our thick and chewy are baked, and it's time for the eating of the cookies. Time for the eating of the cookies. And then we are gonna see what wins, thick and chewy, thin and crispy, or maybe there's a moment for both.
Everybody wins. Everybody.
Okay, and I'm gonna jump in with this thin and crispy because it's been looking at me.
I love that.
So good.
Try thin and crispy?
It's like the perfect consistency.
Yes. I can't choose.
If I had to pick,
Yes.
I'm going thick and chewy.
Really?
And
And I think if I had to pick, I would go thin and crispy.
Yeah.
See? There
But
we
I
have it.
love both.
I do
But
too.
if I
I'm the
had
same
to
way.
pick one,
That's what though. Don't have to.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you try these recipes and comment on this video. What do you like? Thin and crispy, thick and chewy, one of each. Can't wait to see your pictures of trying these recipes. Forward to seeing you on the next episode of KiNiMi Kitchen. Thank you so much.